So, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are located. I am Denise Armenio. I am here today on Inside Health Apps Thursday Live. Um, we are going to be working with the Genius today and doing a group demonstration for everyone and working on clearing the nervous system and working on the meridians, and also a little bit of training to help anybody that's new or has any questions to help everyone. I also have Claire McIntyre here helping me today in the chat, and Connie Minnis is also here today. So we have a full house. So thank you everyone for being here, and anybody watching this on the replay, thank you as well. I am going to start sharing my screen. And okay, here we are. And since we are going to do a group, I believe I have, well, let's just set up a new Thursday group. So we're just going to name this Thursday. Whoops, would help if I spelled it right. Thursday Live. And we're just going to use today's date as the birth date. And today is the 28th. And I'm just going to leave it as female. Any men here watching or on the replay, it's just for graphics. Doesn't mean anything. It's just what graphics show up on the Genius when we start working with it. So from here, I'm just going to hit continue with new analysis. I'm going to bypass the user records for today, but this is for anybody who's new, where you would identify or take notes on what you're working with on your current client, or if it's yourself, you can put down what you were working on as well. This does not affect the scan whatsoever. This is just purely for your notes and your records. So I'm just going to bypass this and hit begin. Here is where we use the voice recognition, and we can use the voice. I do have questions. Sometimes people ask me, well, what if I can't get the voice? Can I not do a scan? What happens? We always recommend and suggest that, of course, you do record the voice when it is possible. If you cannot for a reason, you can just skip and bypass. There are many times where I will do a scan and don't have a picture and don't use the voice analysis, and I still get excellent results. So why don't we just try that out today, and you guys can see how that works for you. So I'm just going to hit skip here. If you were going to record the voice, you just click on this icon here where you see the little microphone, and we recommend or suggest you say your full name and say the vowels A, E, I, O, U. Don't rush through it, but you don't have to say it so slow either. And if you want to add in an intention, you can certainly add in an intention that you want to work with. So anyway, we're just going to bypass this by hitting skip. And we can skip the photo as well. And here we are going to add in an energetic affirmation. I will type in something here, and I always like to add all energies are transmuted into the frequency. Whoops. Of pure love. And so it is. Okay, and The genius will use the algorithms and translate this written text into a frequency, and it will be overlaid every time you run frequencies throughout the session. Okay, so now we can just start the analysis. On the bottom, you can see in red, it says begin analysis. If you are using the basic version of the Genius, and what I mean by basic is pretty much you didn't purchase with any libraries. So the basic version of the Genius would just be the Genius software application for your device with all the different panels that come built into the body, biofield, and mind. And custom libraries banner will only show up if you've created libraries, purchased libraries, or other Genius users have sent you libraries that they created. Okay, before we get any further, I would just like for anybody who is here currently in this live Zoom, just to put enter into the chat what it is that they would like to work on. I'm probably, if you have physical pain or emotional pain, that would be better to enter in. You can certainly put something else, but the purpose is really to see if you see a change at the end of this session. So it's quite easy to see shifts in pain and emotional shifts, other things that may be more internal. You may not see a change right away. And if you could, okay, Jennifer, great. Chronic physical pain. Jennifer, can you just rate that how on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being severe, today, how it's feeling? Like not in general, not yesterday, but like right now, what is the level of pain you're experiencing? And Mitzi, you can do the same thing just so you have a reference point. Okay, great. Jennifer, it's a 4 out of 10 today. Awesome. So anybody else that's watching, if you want to do that too. And I will be running again, working with the nervous system and the meridians just to help calm around the holidays. But I will also give some attention to those things to see if we can work on that as well. But it is also powerful. I really do love to demonstrate how sometimes not even looking to work on that specific issue, how the genius can help clear and reduce the amount of pain that we're having just on working on, you know, like I said, the nervous system or the meridians, or going into general overview and working with all the different frequencies. So great. Thank you everybody so much for adding in what you're working with today. And we can reference back to that at the end of the session and to re-rate all these. So that would be really helpful. Okay, so just quickly for anybody that's new, I just wanted to talk about the numbers and the colors that we're looking at. The Genius uses a number system. So it has a range from 0 to 777, and items that are within the range from 0 to 200 are represented by the color blue. Those items are observed to be chronic energetic disturbances, meaning that that energetic disturbance has been there for a longer period of time. It can also be referred to as under energy or stagnant energy, and it's definitely somewhat causing some form of a crisis within your body. So it is really important to work with items in this lower range. The next range goes from 201 to 450, and that is represented by the color green. We then go to 451 to 600. That is represented by the color yellow. And then lastly, from 601 to 777 is represented by the color red. These are acute energetic disturbances, meaning that they are currently out of balance in the present. They haven't been out of balance for a long period of time. They could also be referred to as over energy or heat or inflammation. And they are frequencies that we do want to work with. They are causing stress on the body in this current time. And of course, if you're not working with them, then they could become more chronic if they aren't able to pass through your energy field. So it is important to work with both those reds and the blues. As far as what numbers do you want to see? I like a tight range. So anything between 400 and 600 is kind of in that okay range for me. And I try to work with everything outside of that range. So mostly the yellows would be okay. And the greens, most of the greens I would still want to work with, because most of the green level goes from 201 to 450. So the only ones that would be in that okay range for me when working between 400 and 600 would be the top part of that green range, from anything above 400. So I hope that helps explain that a little bit. If you're new to working with the Genius, you certainly could just stick with just the reds and the blues, and that's okay. And as you become more familiar with working with the Genius and how and what you want to put in the different trays, you can then broaden your range. So absolutely, there's nothing wrong with just working with the reds and the blues. And we even have the quick balance that makes that possible, and makes it quite easy just to work with those items in those high and low range. The Genius does have 3 areas or trays, we can call them. There's the quick zap, which you see up top, and the little arrow here, you can click on it and it opens it up. Right now, we don't have anything in that tray, but you can drag and drop items into that tray, or you can click on the crosshair and add red items, yellow items, green items, and blue items to be more efficient if you wanted to add a bunch of items at one time. Then you have on the bottom the main hold tray. This is the tray I use most of the time. I will add the items that I want to work to the main hold tray. It gives you a little bit more advanced work, because it allows you to go to this next screen, which I'll show you in a little bit, called the Progressive Insights. And this is where the Genius uses algorithms to analyze the relationship of all the items within the tray. So sometimes we might have some frequencies that might be in that okay range, that where I would say that 400 to 600 range, but yet when it's looked at with other items, then it might make it out of balance or not as happy. So it just gives you more information when you add items into the main hold tray. And then you could also do some more advanced work by working with functional zones and things like that when you add things to the main hold tray, and that we can go over in another time. I also have done other videos that talk about that, so you could always go back and look at some of my videos that I've done on YouTube, and just look up functional zones. The next thing I just wanted to show you was these little down arrows on the left-hand side. That just simply tells you that you can go a little bit deeper. So you'll see for spiritual protection, if I were to click on that, you can click on the line or the arrow. It gives you the same information. It just kind of views it. The view is slightly different. So if you click on the double arrows, you see all the information and you know, what the numerical value is of it, but it's not color coded. If you close it and click on the colored line, it then shows you all the same items and it's color coded. On both views, you also there's this little like magnifying glass that if you click that, it will give you a little bit of information. So negative energy is cleared. It means that it clears all that is not good or of the highest good. So I love the spiritual protection library. So I really recommend that everybody get familiar with it and use it. It really is beneficial. You will not see the little arrows next to the aura because there isn't like a panel beneath it. But what's really important about the aura when you click on the line is that you can do, this is where you get your aura scan. So we can do a quick aura scan here. Okay, it gives you on the top right some buttons. The one says hide avatar. You can hide that. So you can see what's beneath it. This wouldn't be the best aura, I would say. So hopefully we can work on that. The gray isn't just, that's really kind of the color of our physical body. That color would suggest to me that there is some negative energies, interference, or just some like icky stuff around us. And this brown color isn't really such a, it's more like an unhealthy sort of color looking to me. And plus that the aura is like just not clear. You want to see bright, vibrant colors. So bright colors that are holding more light. You'll see the same color in different variations and shades of each color, and each of the 7 colors, which represent the chakras. The darker the color would be more holding the negative attributes of those chakras, and the brighter would hold more of the positive attributes of that chakra. And since we see the different layers, this is going out dimensionally. So there's a lot of information you can look at. This, I'm not going to go into it all here. There are, again, other videos that you can look up that get into it more. If you switch to old, this is the old version of the aura. It does give us different information. The one thing that I always like to recommend that everybody look at here, and at the basic level of looking at this aura, is that all 4 corners are filled with color. That's going to suggest that you are grounded and in your body. In this picture right here on the bottom, we do not see that there's color down here. We're seeing the same gray color that we see here. So it would appear that as a group, we need more grounding. So hopefully we can work with that as well. So I hope that helps a little bit. So the next thing I want to move on is tell you how I would run a scan or a demo. There are 2 steps that I always do. So the first step is to work with the body as a vessel, which is also like the foundation. And so that would be working on your biofield. We want our biofield or our energy around us to be as healthy as possible, because that's kind of like our barrier and our protective shield that's going to protect us from different energies. So if that's not healthy, a lot of different stuff is going to come in. And you will find the biofield. The biofield is actually showing up top, which is the genius telling us that that is where it does see the priority. Since we're working on a group for this group right now. And then I also like to include in the body minerals, vitamins, and amino acids. Those are all the essential nutrients we need to have our body run optimally and have, our cells working the way they should be working. So if you don't have the library that I'm about to use, you can just add all the items from this bio field. Again, drag and drop the amino acids, minerals, and vitamins into the main hold tray. And that could be really beneficial for you to work with first. I actually have set up a start here, which does include everything from the library that I have in the bioterrain priming vessels, and I have a few more things added. So I'm just going to, sorry guys. I have to go to custom libraries and begin analysis. If you have custom libraries made, you have to always run the analysis for the custom library. Okay, so we can go back here. If you were working with the bioterrain library, you could pull that up here. And you can see the vessel priming frequencies. And I also just had written in begin. So that would be the library that you would work with. It is showing that it is out of balance. Again, I could add it from here, but since I have set up, and no, it's not showing for some reason. Oh, maybe. There we are. 273. Okay, there's a lot of items in there, but I'm just gonna run it. So here we are, and I'm gonna just hit begin analysis. I have in this start here some of the crystals from the Alaskan gem elixirs in here. So that's some of those that are showing up in here. I'm just going to select all, and I'm going to put the timer on 1 minute and just run this for all of us. Is it working now, the sound? Okay. Thank you, everybody. I just clicked it on. Okay, so the percent rectification is 15%. We'd like to see that to be 40% or higher. So since it is not, I am going to run this again. And I'm going to deselect all and just work with the low and the highs for right now to see if just working with those will help kind of be able to get that number to be a little bit higher. And Mitzi, I didn't forget about you. I know that this is the area where you get a little bit stuck. So everybody, I just wanted to point out, one of the people who are viewing asked the question earlier that when they're in progressive insights, they get stuck and don't know how to get out of here. At the top left, there is an arrow, that back arrow. And I'm just going to back out so you can see, but if you back out, it's going to bring you to the main page there. Okay, so if I wanted to get back to where I was to get to that progressive insights again, on the bottom of the screen where it says main hold tray. If you go all the way over, like I was gonna hit this play button, it brings me back to that progressive insight. So I hope that answers your question. If that's where you were having a little difficulty, I just want to run this for us now. I just want to select the lows and the highs again, and I'm going to put it on 0 and just run it for 30 seconds and see if that could help bring this average percent rectification up a little bit higher. Okay, so we're at 23%, which is better. What I also like to look at when I'm looking at these percent rectifications is to look at the harmony percentage, the alignment, and energy flow. The average percent rectification is going to be the average of these three numbers. I don't like to see that range to be greater than 20%. I just don't think, from my observations, and if anybody has any different observations, I'm always willing to hear what you find. I just don't think it's going to be as stable, because if that range is wider, something that comes in could just throw it off easier. If your harmony and alignment and energy flow is closer, meaning that like for me, 11% as your low, 31%. So we're not so far off, but it is a little bit higher. So the closer that those three are to the same number is better. I just wanted to see, I would go try to hit any back arrow and I would get the message that you are ready to exit. This happened in a number of places. I think that you might just be maybe clicking twice or clicking too fast. Just hit gently when you click that back arrow, because from Progressive Insights, it should take you to the system overview page. If you hit that arrow again, it's going to ask you if you want to exit the session. So I just think maybe you're a little trigger happy on that back arrow. So see if that helps. If it doesn't, I would contact support at Insight Health Apps, Mitzi, to help you with that. Okay, so now since we still have a low percent rectification, I'm going to deselect the highs. I should have the lows selected down here, and I'm going to run just the lows for about 30 seconds. Okay, so much better. So here you can see we have an average percent rectification of 52. The energy flow is 45%, and harmony is 62. So we're in that range. So that is really great. I'm happy with that. At this point, I would deselect the lows and I would run the highs again for 30 seconds. So I am just going to do that. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. If you did add an item or want to get rid of some of the items that are in the tray, you can do that by swiping to the left and hit delete, as you just saw. I didn't want to do that though. Anyway, I'm just gonna run this now, the highs, for 30 seconds. And again, here we have a 70% rectification, and the harmony, alignment, and energy flow are really tight. Super, super happy with that. I don't feel like we really need to do anything more here. So I am going to back arrow once, and it takes me to the system overview page. I am going to open the main hold tray so I can clear all these items out. Excuse me. And now I'm going to take us to the general overview, which you get to the general overview by clicking or tapping on the system overview. And now the general overview, why I love working here and why I think it's so important is because it gives you the Genius in this view puts every item from the system overview page and from all your custom libraries in numerical order. So you're going to see all your highs, you know, going down from the top 777 all the way down to your lows. And it's not in categories anymore. So you can really get a great picture of what your reds and blues are. Now, for me, I have over 2,000 libraries, probably, I don't know, upwards of 80,000 line items. So you're going to see a lot of reds. You're going to see a lot of 777s. We only have 777 spots, so to speak. So don't get, you know, don't be so alarmed by seeing so many reds and so many blues. We have a, you know, a set range that all those items have to fit in. So there's going to be a lot there. You can see, so showing up what's showing red for the group and stressing us in this moment, wheat is showing up. I don't know if anybody has any issues with wheat, but maybe with the holidays, we had too much of it and it is stressing us out for the moment, or maybe you just absorb that energy, but it is showing up there up at the top. There are, I release and clear all past life addiction to library. So again, past life things are coming up. There are some things coming up with metabolic cofactor deficiency with alcohol and smoking. Again, this isn't really, you know, we just came off holiday. So these things all seem relatively not so abnormal to see them. We can click where it says 0 to 100 to see the bottom view and what's coming up for the group as more chronic is that, well, a contagious contact and some remedies protocol. We can see that we don't necessarily always have to know what every line item means for it to work. That is the beauty of working with the Genius. It does all the work for you. We can then see that there's some galactic flower essences from Venus that are showing up. My timing is perfection is showing up. Deactivate all imposed AI. Maintain and protect 100% light. That looks like some wording got cut off, but that's okay too. So you can just see all these different line items that are showing up. That is just out of balance more chronically. So we are going to work with them. So one thing that we can do here to make it a little bit easier, I like to press on the crosshairs, and we could add the top 50 and the bottom 50. I also then like to remove all my personal libraries, and now it is just everything that is on the system overview page. And then we can look at what's showing up there. So what's showing up in the low range or the blues, that's going to be more chronic. We have the CV21 point in the meridian, the bladder meridian point. We have some electrical sensitivities with radio waves. Spiritual protection is showing up. So we can see a lot of the biofield items are showing up, and meridians, things that we were planning to work with anyway today. So we will go back and look at those spinal energy point in there. So let's get these added to the tray. Again, I'm going to add the top 50 and bottom 50. That should give us approximately 200 items. We can now go to the progressive insights and begin analysis. Okay, and again, I'm going to move the timer to 1 minute. I'm going to select all and just run these for 1 minute. Okay, so our percent rectification is 35%. That's a decent percent rectification. It's not over 40%, but it's still good. And also the harmony, alignment, and energy flow is pretty tight. It's like 10%. So that is good. We could run this, we could deselect and just run the highs and the lows for 30 seconds and just see if we could get that boost that to get a little bit higher. I'll do that right now. Okay, we're at 39% now. So we went a little bit, we boosted it up a little bit. I'm not going to try to get that any higher. I think that that's good for right now. And we're doing this is just a demo, and I want to get to working with some of those the nervous system and the meridians a little bit more in depth. Again, Mitzi, I just want to show you with this back arrow. We're in the general overview. When I hit this back white arrow on the top left, it brings me to the system overview. If I were to click it again, this is where it prompts me, you are about to exit the session. If you hit it by mistake and went too far, and you just hit no, it should just go away and leave you at that system overview. So if you hit yes, it's going to take you back out. So just hit no and you should be on that main system overview page. So if you're seeing something different, or if it's not working like that for you, again, just check in with support at Inside Health Apps, and they should be able to help you with that. But I just think it might be like a little bit of a user, maybe your touch screen is like very sensitive or something. But so just play around and let me know if that helps you at all. Okay, so now I'm just going to go back down to the main hold tray, and I'm going to clear my main hold tray. And now this allows me to add in things that I want to focus on. So for the group, we're going to focus on the nervous system. And to do that, I want to look at the meridians, but I also want to look at spinal energy. So I'm just going to click on the spinal energy here. And when you look at this view, it puts all the spinal segments in like order, as it's starting with the cervical 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and so on. If you were to, if you click spinal energy at the top, it will now put it in like top to bottom view. So it gives you a little different view on that, um, which is helpful. If you clicked it again, it would now give you the blue. It just flips the view. I don't think it doesn't bring you back to that first view though. So just be sure that you want to not see that. I like having it in this view, honestly, better to know what to work with. And we could, I don't know if I have my, oh, here's my little cheat sheets. So for the group L5 is what's showing up as what's stressed right now. So that has to do with the legs, ankle, feet, toes, arches. It harmonizes the spine for circulation in the legs, swollen ankles, cold feet, weak arches. And the emotional connection is communication issues, hard to accept pleasure and joy. So I don't know if that resonates for anybody in the group. A lot of times I find that, you know, even when the physical aspect doesn't align, the emotional aspect will align. So I would just be curious, if you guys that are watching this live, if any part of that resonates for you, whether physically with the legs, ankles, feet, toes, and arches, or for the emotional component of that. Jennifer says it does. Great. So we'll be, and Claire does too. Perfect. Do you guys want to hear what what the physical and emotional components are for the reds and blues for this? Does that help you? Or do you want me to just, I can look at just the one blue and give you that information. Let me know. I'm happy to work on more of the reds, because I would think that the reds are more like off now because we're coming out of like the holiday and what was going on. So even if we wanted to look at, we see thoracic 10 is the next one that's high. That has to do with the kidneys, kidney stones, chronic fatigue. The emotional connection is hard to take charge of one's life, hard to go with the flow of authentic direction. So again, I'm not sure if that resonates, but that is in there for you. Kidneys is also, I mean, you know, we're going to be doing a lot, putting probably with the holidays and all the eating and festivities, putting a lot of strain on the kidneys. So let's just look and see. The thoracic 4 is what's seems chronically out, and that is the gallbladder. So it has to do with gallbladder issues, gallstones, liver toxicity, liver energy stuck, chronic viruses, potentially shingles. And the emotional connection on that one is bitterness, need to make others wrong. So I don't know, again, if there's any connection there with that, but I'm going to add in the blues, the greens, and the reds. And again, the reason why I'm adding the greens is because most of the greens here, except for L3 and 6-8, are outside that 400 to 600 range. If you look at the yellows are all going to be within that 400 and 600 range. So instead of dragging and dropping the greens, I mean, I could, if I wanted to, go to the main hold tray and I could X out the, you know, the 2 and the green that are above 400, but I'm not going to do that. And then the other thing I want to add in to this spinal energy is to look at the emotions, because there's going to be a lot of emotions coming off as we working through the holiday season, getting past Christmas into the new year. Again, it can be a difficult time for a lot of people. So let's go down now and look at the emotions. And again, I'm going to add in the reds, the blues, and also the greens. Yeah, I'm just going to add in all the greens in that. And I'm going to add the neurotransmitters as well. And I will again add the blues, the greens, and there are no yellows, strangely, and the red. So, the histamine would be the only one that is within that 400 to 600 range. But, with any pain that we're having, histamine, could affect all of that. So I'm just going to add all of those in. And the last thing we can look at when we're looking at the working with emotions is to pairing it up with the Bach flower essences. So here I'm just going to add the reds and the blues. And we can go to lastly, just look at the meridians. And I'm just going to add in, I'm not going to add in all the points, but I am going to add in the greens and the blues. I'm just going to do this more general for the meridians. I'm not going to go into the specific points. And now I'm just going to run. And I'm selecting all of them for 1 minute. So awesome, a 61% rectification. That's great. And when we look at the harmony, alignment, and energy flow, harmony and alignment are right at 66%. That's awesome. And the energy flow 52%. So I'm really happy with that. I wouldn't look to really run this again. I would be curious though, if everybody wants to just do a quick check-in, just to see, Jennifer, you are at a 4 for your pain. Mitzi, I believe for your runny nose, and sinuses, you are also a 4 out of 10. Claire and Tammy were at a 5, Tammy for fatigue and Claire for joint and muscle pain. Have there been any shifts in any of that for any of you? Okay, Jennifer saying that yes, a bit better relaxed. Can you put a number on it, Jennifer? Not to put you on the spot, but is it a 3, a 2? A 3. Okay, great. I will also run the pain panel as well to see if we could get that down. Anyone else? If you can recheck in what your pain levels, have they reduced at all? It's okay to say if they haven't changed. Sometimes we don't always see a quick change. Claire yawned. Okay, and for anybody who's not as familiar with some energy work, yawning when you do some energy work and clearing is a sign that energy is clearing. So that's great, Claire, that it's a yawn. No change yet, but it did resonate. Great. Mitzi, your sinuses are a 2. I feel drier, a bit stuffy. Okay, so we're working in the same direction. And Tammy, no change yet. Okay, well, hopefully, let's see if we can do something about that. So I am going to go to my libraries and go to my pain library here. And I'm going to add the reds, greens, and blues to the quick zap, and I'm just going to run these for it. The timer is on 1 minute, so I'm just going to run these for 1 minute for everyone. Okay, so we're seeing an average percent rectification here of 53%. But the range from 36 to 62 is above that 20%. So I would run this again a little bit longer. I'm just going to move the timer to 0 so we can just run this for about 30 seconds. Okay, and now we're at 40% and that range is much tighter, so I'm happy with that. Tammy, did that help at all move things for you a bit? Or I know that yours is more fatigue, but perhaps working with that helped you a little bit. We can also look at we didn't look at today's stress. We could look at today's stress. We have some acid bacteria. Brain is showing stress. And then on the bottom, we're seeing some other areas in here. You might just need a little extra to run these sessions a little longer, or maybe you'll feel better later, Tammy. Hopefully moving it, this is all moving in the right direction for you. Let's just go and look at the aura and see how that is looking right now. And we can move the, so you can see in the center, it looks a little bit better, but on the outside, that's not looking so hot. And we kind of see color in all four corners. Let's just work for a second. I'm going to clear the main hold tray and work with the items in spiritual protection. And give me a second here, guys. And I'm just going to try to work on the aura here for a little bit for you guys. And I'm just going to put it on 30 seconds and run this. Okay, so we're at 33% there. Let's just see how this is helping the aura right now. Oh, Claire, you typed faster than me. Okay, so looks like we're stirring up a hornet's nest a little bit in here. So, to me, this is saying that there's some underlying stuff that we all need to work on. There could be some anger in here and some control with some of these colors in here. I don't know if that resonates for anyone, but I would continue to run some more of these energies to help clear them out. There's some interference, even some spiritual protection in some of those. Again, anybody who, if we're around a lot of people over the holidays, just being in close proximity, it's really easy to pick up different negative energies from people. But I'm just seeing in here that there's, and again, it's just kind of a feeling that I'm feeling. I don't know if anybody out there who's watching right now, has any intuitive feelings on this, but that's just kind of my feel. Connie, I don't know what your feeling is on that, but that's just my yellow. To me, can sometimes be like more of a control thing, and the red and the orange in there is just kind of screaming at me. So anyway, I would still continue to work on that. We can see what the old version looks like. There is color in so it looks like we're more grounded than we were when we started with. So that is a good sign. How is everybody? Tammy, I know that you were feeling maybe slightly a change, but not much. Mitzi, are your still sinuses still, they went from a 4 to a 2. Are they still at the 2? Any additional change? Jennifer, you were a 4, then you went to a 3. Any other change in there? And Claire is yawning more. I was yawning too, so so I think Jennifer, right? Anyone else? And for some reason, Tammy, I hear, wait. You're still stuffy, but feel drier. Okay. Still relax and learned I can delete from. Well, good. I'm glad you learned that. Something new that you can learn. And Tammy, I feel like I would work on digestion for you. That's just a feeling that I'm getting. So maybe you want to just run that when we get finished with that, would help with some of your fatigue. So does anybody have any questions before we end things for today? Thank you for your patience. We did go a little bit over. We will be back here next week for the new year. We'll see you next year. And Mitzi, I hope you figure out that little issue you were having. And Tammy says sounds right about digestion. So yeah, I would work on digestion. I feel like your body may be that's what's causing your fatigue. right now. So, happy New Year to you too, Jennifer. You're welcome, Karen, and look forward to seeing everybody next week. So have a wonderful and blessed New Year, whatever you are doing. So thank you again. Did someone have a question, or you just took your mic off? I'm not sure. Mitzi, your training. Oh, thank you, Mitzi. She appreciates the training. A lot to learn. It's confusing sometimes. You'll get the hang of it. It just takes practice. Sometimes just let the genius do the work for you, and you'll kind of see patterns that start showing up, and you'll learn how to read them better. So don't get all in your head about what to push. Just kind of let your intuition guide you on where you should go. Even if it doesn't seem to make sense at that moment for you, I would just go with your gut. And thank you, Tammy. Happy New Year to you and to everyone too. And David, thank you. So anyway, I am just going to stop this recording.